This man right here is Pablo Picasso. Now, if you don't know who Pablo Picasso is, you probably didn't go to school. And if you went to school, you know who Pablo Picasso is. He's the person that helped us realize that art is coming from our own minds. Things don't have to make sense to make it make sense. He might have a big window in the front, a little small sun in the back. He might have a huge person with a huge face, with a very small nose, with big teeth, with small lips, with a big head, with a little neck. Pablo Picasso is one of the greatest artists of all time. Now, when I went to school my entire life, I thought Pablo Picasso died or lived like in the 12, 13, and 1400s. When Christopher Columbus supposedly came, he didn't really come over here first, but when he supposedly came over here, I thought he met Pablo Picasso off the ocean. I thought Pablo Picasso and Jesus went to school together. Y'all couldn't tell me Pablo Picasso wasn't there when they was like making the first bit of coins, right? I just found out this morning through the magic of the internet, through the magic of a meme, that Pablo Picasso died in 1970 something. That means Pablo Picasso probably smoked weed with hippies. That means Pablo Picasso probably watched us go to the moon. Pablo Picasso was around. Pablo Picasso drove a real car. I thought Pablo Picasso was riding in chariots and horses and he never had a light switch and he was taking baths where they had to like warm the water up at the bottom of the tub. I thought that man was eating and writing with chicken blood on an ink pen type feather. You know, this is why education is important, okay? Because I cannot be the only human on this earth in America that thought Pablo Picasso was like Back to the Future type ages. I'm dead. Like Pablo Picasso was there when the first Constitution was getting written. I did not know that man died in 1970 something. Pablo Picasso was in the club doing swing dances and swing moves. That man lived through the Great Depression. That man saw 2 world wars. Pablo Picasso could probably went to school with my granddad. You know what? I got to talk to some people because some people I know, because you know, black people, we know everybody. I guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, I know a person that know an uncle, that know a person that know a person that went to school or messed with Pablo Picasso. Somebody can tell me what that Pablo Picasso love was like at one point. My mama was a little young. In 1973, my mama was 12, so she would have been too young for Pablo Picasso. But I bet you, my grandma, blessed her soul, I bet you my grandma had Pablo Picasso looking at her. Some of here, I see, now I got to go back and look at some paintings because you know what? That black Jesus with the afro and stuff was probably inspired by Pablo Picasso. Tell me, raise your hand in the comments if you knew Pablo Picasso died in 1970 something. Y'all can tell me that, man. I don't give a damn. Now I'm looking at Vince Van Gogh. Now he was in the 1800s, but I got to go back and study some stuff because the way they taught history in school was like everybody was old. If you was born after the 1980s, your ass is old. Anything before the 80s, you prehistoric. You old. You in your 40s now. Anything past before the 1980s is old. So I got to go do some research. I want to have a positive conversation about Pablo Picasso. Please.